Interesting thought today on the New York Football Jets, right? Look, and I said this 2 years ago to my friends, be careful with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a dictator, okay? You look in his eyes and he's a fucking dictator. And there's a reason he's had issues in past places with coaches and family members and, but forget all that. This man comes to the Jets, takes $75 million, plays 4 snaps last year. Not his fault. Blame the GM. You had to fix the O-line. You've been talking about the O-line for 7 years. You go out and get Cook. You go out and get Adams. You pay Cobb. Notice all these guys are Rodgers' goons, right? Now you got Adams. This guy looked like a land turtle last night. Brothers. Lazard. All right, Lazard's finally playing all right. Whatever, man. Hasn't lived up either. You don't get linemen. You pick up these sexy fantasy players. You talk about winning a Super Bowl. The Jets, listen, your GM's been here 7 years. He's failed 2 highly drafted quarterbacks. One is dominating in Minnesota. Okay? Then he pays a lot of money, goes to get Rodgers. I don't blame him. The Jets got talent on defense. Wilson at wide receiver, Hall. Let's go get Rodgers. Take a 2-year shot, try to win a Super Bowl. I mean, God, it's been 60 years. Give the fans a bone, okay? I'm with that. But Rodgers takes over the organization. He takes this franchise hostage. What he does is he blames losses by saying energy. There's no energy on the team. Coaches got to have accountability. He did this to McCarthy. He did this to the coach after McCarthy. I don't remember who it was. Was it LaFleur? Green Bay ran him out of town. We all know the Packers know what they're doing with their quarterbacks. They got the resume and history to prove it. You run a guy like Rodgers out of town, there's a fucking reason for it. Okay? The dictatorship and the problems outweigh his style of play anymore. If you would have got Rodgers to come over and hold your franchise hostage when he was 34, that's a different story. But at 40, 41 years old, you could see he clearly can't play the same. Your O-line is getting him destroyed. 7 years you haven't fixed this O-line. You go out and get Smith. The guy's washed. Dallas wouldn't let him out the building if he wasn't, brothers. I'm watching guys walk around him untouched. And Rodgers is catching blindsided shots. Shots from both sides of the line, man. Rodgers doesn't work out, doesn't have any muscles, doesn't condition. He goes on retrieves, he hikes, and smokes mushrooms in caves. Working out is not important to Rodgers. Go figure that out. Any gym rat will tell you as you get older, you got to work out and condition to keep up with your age, maybe stay ahead of it. No, not Rodgers. There's problems with the guy, the personality, and everybody's at fault except for him. The energy, accountability. I need a coach that has accountability. Salah's gone, and he's laughing somewhere because now the Jets' defense has regressed majorly. The Jets have a lot of talent on defense, but you know what they're not? They're not a blue-collar, I'm going to bully you and jump you type of D. They're not down for the backyard brawl. As soon as their defense gets punched in the mouth once, they back away like a little cat. Right? That's the Jets' defense. You can't buy Super Bowls. And the Jets continue to try to do that. Why do you get Adams when you have no O-line? Last August, I was saying, you better get a fucking O-line or this guy Rodgers is not making it through the season. Who do they go get? Cook, a little running back. That's going to do absolutely nothing because you don't have an O-line. I don't think you get it. Douglas, 7 years, wasted 3 quarterbacks, okay? I don't know how many head coaches, 2, 3. Paid a lot of money to a lot of guys. Rodgers stole $75 million from the Jets. Still, not one playoff appearance in all 6, 7 years of Douglas. It's time to move on. You have an absentee owner. That's a problem, a major problem. He's not really involved like that. So he's now giving the key to Rodgers and say, here, it's your team. Go get who you want. Go do what you want. Go fire what you want. A matter of fact, you decide what these guys fucking eat for breakfast. And Sauce, a big-time corner, is regressing. How many flags does he have this year? The man is holding people left and right. Wilson, big-time receiver, was expected to be a star. How come he's dropping balls? Why is he regressed? What is Rodgers saying to him in the locker room that may be fucking with his psyche and his confidence? Think about that. Because you can't blame everybody. You got to shut up at some point and deliver as a legendary quarterback. Rodgers hasn't won a Super Bowl in like 16 years, right? He's underachieved. Great statistically, great accurate quarterback his whole career. Never got back to the dance. Had a 15-1 team get blown out at home in Lambeau by Eli and the Giants. Remember that? But it's not even about that. It's time for the Jets to clean house up top. GM, you got no head coach right now. And it's time that you got to let go of Aaron Rodgers at the end of this year. Go draft a young quarterback. Look, the Chiefs are a dynasty. The Bills and Texans are very strong. The Jets are not winning a Super Bowl right now. It's a good time to try to rebuild from the top. And you could keep the roster, rearm, and build the O-line. Winning Super Bowls takes years. 6, 7, 8 years of building a team through the draft. Add 1 or 2 free agents here and there. Not fill your entire team full of has-been stars from the past around the league. You're not building a Broadway show Pro Bowl team. You're trying to build a championship. It's going to take a big-time coach to change the Jets' history. Because deep in the core, the Jets have been a loser. And it's showing up again. There was no reason to go get Adams. You wasted 2 draft picks on Reddick. And he's finally going to show up to maybe play a football game in week 8. I mean, it's a fucking joke, bro. You know, Douglas it was a good GM, but it didn't work here with the Jets. And sometimes you need change. And the other team in town, my team, the Giants, they're staring at the same type of thing. You know, it's a little bit of a different place. There were no expectations. It's a younger team. But they're going to have to go out and get a new quarterback. And also, they probably might be looking for a new head coach with that. As far as the GM, I don't know. I think you could keep him. But you know what? What do I know anymore? I'll leave it up to Mara. What does Mara know anymore, to be honest, also? It's just my thought on the Jets. You know, they could turn it around and beat New England next week, but then they got to play the Texans. Again, I don't like what I'm seeing out of their defense. Their O-line is just bad. It's a bad O-line, you know. Guy Smith is done. You might want to take him out and put someone else in. I don't know if they have someone else. Maybe you don't trade for an Adams because Aaron Rodgers wants his friend to hang around with him. Maybe you go get a fat lineman around the league, make a trade, a lineman that could help keep Rodgers on his feet. I don't know. New York football is a disaster. Miz in the midday.